I think of movies like Michelangelo's David. Movie actors are Michelangelo's David. That's the perfection, and it's not real. Hey there, Coach Devin here. Channing Tatum, which all the ladies love. My wife loves Channing Tatum. She follows him on Instagram. I think she may drool a little bit when he posts pictures. I'm not kidding. She does love Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum just came out. He was in an interview, and in the interview, he talked about going back. He's doing Magic Mike Part 3, and he wanted to go in and talk about, you know, the new movie and things like that. And some of the questions that Kelly asked him during the interview were, you know, about his physique and how hard it was to get that physique and what did he do for it. And he had some interesting things to say, and we're going to talk about exactly what Channing Tatum said and the things I agree with from him right about now. Before we get going, hit that heart down below. That's a like. It helps with the algorithm, means more people see these videos. Also, if you hit the bell, that will tell you when I make a new video, and please subscribe. It would be very helpful if you subscribe. I make these videos because I've been a trainer for 28 years now. I've owned a gym for 11 years, and my goal here is to help more people be healthy and not make all the stupid mistakes that most people make and I made in my life. So, you know what? I'm just trying to help people out. So please, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, and share this with your friends, and let's hope we can help more people get more fit and healthy. All right, Channing Tatum. Talking on to Kelly, he's talking about, you know, how hard it was to diet down for that. And he said, you know what, it's not as easy as it used to be. It's hard now. I find it challenging. And he almost didn't do the next movie. So we're talking the Magic Mike, you know, stripper movies. That's what we're talking about. Magic Mike stripper movies. And he said basically he wasn't sure he wanted to do it again because it was so hard on his body to do it. To get to that shape and to get that lean was that hard on his body. And that's something that I think is about time Hollywood stars and people in general should start talking about. And I think, God bless Channing Tatum for doing it. You know what? It's time to talk about the fact that some of these looks are not reasonable, attainable, or something you could do long term. Okay? These guys will get in shape, or girls will get in shape for a show or a movie, and they're in shape for that movie, but it's a painful thing. And I think he put it the best. He said, it's not healthy. It's not good for you. It's hard. It's stressful. I didn't enjoy it. And the funny part is he likes to work out. He was very clear. He said, I like to work out, but doing that, the dieting and everything else is not fun. Look, it's something I've been preaching for a long time now. It is important to realize that what you see in movies and what you see in the WWE and what you see on Instagram is not necessarily fact. Okay? You see an Instagram model and they're ripped to death and there's all these pictures of them and they're posting a new picture every day. They probably did 8 or 10 photo shoots when they were ripped, and then they just post them over the course of the year. Channing Tatum, I can guarantee you, is not jacked and ripped to hell all the time. And he said it in the movie. He's like, I'll gain 15 pounds after that, and I'm nowhere near as lean. To lose 15 pounds of fat and get super shredded, you know, like Channing Tatum would do for a movie, because he's playing a stripper and you have to look that part, it's not easy. It's a challenge. It's tough to do. And anybody who's lost weight ever will tell you this is not an easy thing to do. You want to lose weight, you got to get leaner. It is tough. You have to be on track with your food. You have to be on track with your exercises. You got to grind and grind and grind every day. It's not, I'm walking around like this. There's a few people in the world that walk around lean and ripped all the time, but there's not many. There's just not many. Most people don't look like that. Most people aren't like that. And fortunately, Channing Tatum is coming out there and saying, hey, listen, you know what? I'm not one of those guys either. I gotta bust my ass to be able to look the part for the show. And maybe you know what, it was so hard that maybe I didn't want to do it that much. I wasn't that into it because of the fact that it was so challenging and so difficult. The problem we have now in society, and we're seeing in movies and everything else, everybody is ripped. Everybody looks perfect. I have a client who said he was on TikTok, and he said the problem he saw with TikTok was that, you know, young girls being on TikTok now, every girl on TikTok is a 14. He's like, every girl on TikTok's a 14, and that's not reasonable because they're not actually 14s, but they look like they're 14. And imagine the pressure and the stress on young girls based on, and there's enough social pressure on young ladies and girls right now to look a certain way. Imagine that they're seeing people that look better than they actually look. You know what I mean? They're not real. Just like a situation with a movie, and you're playing a stripper and you're Channing Tatum, and you have to get ripped for it, and you diet like a bugger beforehand, and you're talking 2-3 months of diet time to get to that point, and then you have to hold it through the whole movie, and as soon as that movie's over, boom, it's done. People diet down to get that fit, like a bodybuilder or a bikini model or a figure model or whatever. They do it for 2 or 3 days. That's what they get to. They diet down to that point for 2 or 3 days. A movie actor will have to hold that for, the whole shoot. Might be 3 or 4 months. But as soon as that's done, boy, that's over. And no, it's not healthy. To be ripped to death all the time, not a healthy thing. It's not healthy, and it's not easy on you. It's stressful on your body. It is hard on your body. So what am I saying here? I'm saying, oh, you shouldn't be healthy? No, not saying that. Everybody should be, to see if they can be as healthy as they possibly can be. It's always important to exercise. It's always important to lift weights. It's always important to do your cardio, right? Those things are important. And to eat healthy, but you have to have some reasonableness in your life. Do you need to walk around with abs and veins in your abs all the time? Well, no, you don't. Do you need to walk around looking like Magic Mike all the time? You don't. It's not necessary, and it's not realistic. And this is the problem we're seeing now, and thank God that Channing Tatum is coming out and saying, hey, listen, this is not reasonable, it's not real, this is not who I actually am. Because you know what? Somebody has to say it. And I know people say it online sometimes, but everybody just ignores it. And I see it on my Instagram, and I see it in movies. Everybody looks a specific way. The guys I see on Instagram are just jacked. I know full well that they don't look like that all the time, but it certainly looks like they look like that all the time based on what they put out there, what they post, what they talk about. It is time and necessary for actors to start saying, hey, this is not realistic. When I watched the Baywatch movie, right? The Baywatch movie I thought was a good point because you got some athletes in that movie that were ripped to death. Zac Efron said he dieted so hard for that movie, he had no carbs for like 6 months or something stupid like that. He was just chicken and broccoli every day, all day. He was ripped to death for the movie. Does he look like that normally? Not even close. But he did it for the movie because he had to have his shirt off and they wanted him to look a certain way. Channing Tatum is dieting like a bugger because he has to get on stage and be a stripper. Strippers got to be fit. I mean, you're playing to a certain clientele there, right? The ladies would like to see it. My wife, I can guarantee you, wants to see that. And you know what? Fine. That's fine for that, but it's not realistic and it's not real. And it's about time we all talk about the fact that it isn't real. It's okay to have abs. If you're somebody who can have abs and you want to put in the time, the effort, and the work to say, hey, I'm going to have abs every day, good for you. You know what I mean? Like, good for you. If you want to walk around and you want to be good and lean all the time, great. But there's lean and healthy, and there's lean and unhealthy, and they're very, very different things. And I think where we are now for athletes, well, not athletes so much, bodybuilders and bikini models and, models in general and, actresses and whatever, they are all playing a specific role. We need to understand that and talk to our kids about that, talk to our friends about that, and understand that this is not normalcy. This is not the way life really is. Channing Tatum does not look jacked all the time with crazy abs. He doesn't. I'm sorry to my wife, Dev. I'm sorry, babe. He doesn't look that way. Now, if anybody's wondering, my wife does have the same name as I do. Her name is Devin. My name also is Devin. She spells it wrong. She spells it with an O. So, yeah. I tell her that all the time, that she spells it wrong. But that's why I say, babe, I'm sorry. Channing Tatum does not look like Channing Tatum does in movies and what you imagine him to look like all the time. And you know what? It's nice to hear him talk about that. It was nice to hear Zac Efron talk about how much Baywatch sucked and how much he didn't like doing Baywatch because it was so hard to be like that every day, all day. You know what I mean? These things are important to talk about. It's the realism, I think. We need to have some realism and say, okay, movies are great, and it's, sort of like Michelangelo's David. I think of movies like Michelangelo's David. Movie actors are Michelangelo's David. That's the perfection, and it's not real. That's the stuff we need to talk about. That's the stuff we need to, as trainers, trainers out there need to talk about it. Athletes need to talk about it. Models need to talk about it. Actors need to talk about it. We need to have conversation around this because of the fact that we are setting people up to be stressed and feel shitty about themselves. And nobody wants to feel bad about themselves, but you look on Instagram and everybody looks perfect. TikTok, everybody looks perfect. It's not good for you. It just isn't. So it's nice to see Channing Tatum and Zac Efron, some of those guys talk about the fact that, this was hard. It sucked. I didn't enjoy it. And you know what? It's not real. Those are things that are important, I think. And for the ladies out there, like my wife, I am very sorry, but that's not the way Channing Tatum actually looks. But let's just keep in mind that, what you see on a screen and what you see on Instagram, what you see on Facebook, and what you see on TikTok and whatever, Tinder, I don't know. I'm not on Tinder. I'm married, as you can see. But what you see on there sometimes is not real. And let's accept the fact that it's not real. It's okay that it's not real. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy out there for all of us to consume and enjoy, but let's not assume that we are going to look like that. If you have comments, questions, things you want me to talk about, you think you want to talk about Zac Efron or Channing Tatum, write it up down below. I would love to hear from you. Like I said, I love getting information from people and people commenting because quite often this is where these videos come from. Have yourself a great day, everybody. Don't fight the awesome.